What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Fishing the Lone Star and another Texas weekly update. This is the second time we're doing this video, so please drop comments. Let me know if you like the new format. This week, we're actually breaking down 3 lakes in one weekend. That's right, I was able to fish Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Normally, I'm only able to get out one particular day a week or weekend. This particular weekend, I got to get out all 3. Took off work on Friday, fish Saturday, fish Sunday at 3 different bodies of water. Very different, very unique. So I'm going to break down each of those, give you the idea of what was working on each one, show you the baits, show you the lures, show you the presentations, talk about water temperature so that you too can hopefully have success this time of year out on the water. Also, this video is brought to you by Texas Shills Outdoors. Make sure you check out their page. I'll link them below. Check out their content and be sure to drop into your local Shills, shills.com. And if you're in the Dallas area, the store in the Colony, it is loaded. Their fishing department is amazing. I can never seem to leave there once I get in. Just love the place. So check out Shills. All right, let's dive in. The first place we went to on Friday, and I always kind of almost want to get ahead. Let me back up just a moment to last week. If you remember me saying the forecast called for 5 to 6 nights in a row of temperatures in the 30s. And 1 or 2 nights actually below freezing here in North Texas. That's not normally good fishing conditions, especially for a lot of the Florida strain bass that we have around here. It was tough. It was definitely a tougher fishing weekend, although my fingers are still pretty tore up, so we still caught a lot of fish. But let me tell you how we did it and where we went. On Friday, because the temperatures were so low, had some buddies come in town from Oklahoma. We wanted to have some fun, so we went out to a power plant lake called Welsh Reservoir. Now, I've never been to Welsh Reservoir. I've had people tell me about it, and I was able to hop on the Fish Life app. I'll drop them below as well. We were able to get on the Fish Life app, and it put us on some spots that local guides were dropping pinpoints and saying exactly what to use in those areas, and caught some fish, caught some good fish. One of the fish we caught came on the 5.5-inch Mega Slammer. Sorry, some carpet hair, but the 5.5-inch Mega Slammer and Tennessee Shad Color by Egg Zone Lures. That's just an EWG belly weighted swim bait hook. But that bait caught a pretty big fish for me. Buddy that I was fishing with was using a swim jig, very similar to, very similar to this one. Turn it this way so you can see it. But I was using just a swim jig. The one he was using though was more like a bluegill color. And then later in the evening, we caught fish on just a traditional, so I'll kind of show you the size differences. This is a 4-inch by Big Bite Baits. This is a 5.5-inch by Egg Zone Lures, the Slammer. This is the Finesse Swimmer by Big Bite Baits over here. Again, 4.4 inches. We caught this one across the top of grass in the evenings as the fish kind of livened up around the evening time. Now the water temps, interestingly enough, on a power plant lake, the water temps were anywhere between 65 degrees at the south end of the lake. The average temps were probably around the low 70s, and then up to 85 degrees around the discharge. And you may think, man, that's awful warm for this time of year or any time of the year. And you're right, but the 2 biggest fish, probably close to a 3-pounder and a 4.5-pounder, all came right around the discharge area, all on swim baits or swim jigs, kind of coming across or into grass. So that's how we caught them on Lake Welsh on Friday. Now moving into Saturday. Saturday was a little bit different, actually much different. We went to a private lake, about a 20-25 acre lake. I'm part of a private water fishing club and located in Texas. If you're not familiar with them, be sure to check out privatewaterfishing.com. I will tell you, they've got some amazing, beautiful properties, and they professionally manage them to grow big bass. They're just a ton of fun to get out and fish. I don't care who you are, say what you want. They're awesome to get out and fish, especially when you got 2 buddies in town and you want to go have a good time. You're going to go to private water fishing. It's pretty legit. So we went to Double A Lake in Wills Point, and we started off throwing swim jigs. So I just showed it to you. I'll show you again. This is the Tour Grade swim jig right here by Strike King. I think that's a Smoky Shad Color, and that's a Tennessee Shad Egg Zone Slammer on the back, a 4-inch size. And really, we fished the outer perimeter, kind of in that 5 to 10 foot range. The fish were hugged up against grass, and that morning was the coldest. It started off at a balmy 32 degrees. The water temps were 54 to 56 all day. And there was a multitude of things we tried, but the fish were hugging cover, at least in the morning. When the sun came up, the bite was on. They were all over that swim jig. Caught several 3s, several 4s, lots of 2-pounders. I mean, we had a really good day out there. As the day went on, the sun got high. There were no clouds. There was very little wind. The bite got tougher, and so we transitioned to using bottom baits. And I'll show you what I use. You've probably seen this or heard of it before, but I used a big worm. That's an 8.5 inch. It's called the Magnum Crawler by Smash Tech on a big 7/0 shaky head, and it was kind of just dragging it along the bottom. Actually, the fish I caught, or a couple I caught on it, were literally just dead sticking it. So I throw it out, let it sink to the bottom, and it sits. But that worm, even though it's 8.5 inches, it stands up and floats. So it's just kind of barely kind of undulating in the water. I love that word, undulating. It was kind of waving in the water, and it literally wasn't moving at all. And that's where at least my bites came on. A buddy of mine that was with me caught a pretty good 4-pounder doing something similar, but it was on a Texas rig. I think it was a 10-inch power bait worm that he caught his on. So bottom contact baits is what worked later in the day as the sun got high and like that 13 to 15 foot of water range. And again, even though it was a private water lake, the water temps were 54 to 56. And it was just really tough after 5 or 6 days of that cold condition. So not just a cold front where it's 1 or 2 days, but we went from 60, 70 degree days to 40, 50 degree days. We went from 40 and 50 degree overnights to 30 degree overnights for a week in a row. And it's really, really impacted the fishing. So that takes us to Sunday. Sunday we went to the lake that I love, but I also hate. It's definitely a love-hate relationship. Went to Lake Fork. That's where I caught my PB last June of 8 pounds. Did not have any luck out there. We fished around some bridge pilings, some, the rock embankments on bridges. We fished some docks and creek channel swings. We fished creek channel swings in a little bit deeper waters around some primary lake points. And we just didn't find them. We didn't even get a bite. Now we were only out there for 3 hours. So in all fairness, 3 hours to try to figure out a pattern on Lake Fork when you haven't been there in about 2 months. There's not even many pros that are going to go out and have a lot of success in 3 hours in the situation that we were put in this weekend. One of our buddies had to leave. So as we were taking him back to the boat ramp, we decided at that point we can go back out and continue to hunt around on Lake Fork and may or may not find some fish, or we can take the boat out of the water and go to a farm pond, basically. And so we went out there, and for those of you that love to bank fish, we tore them up on a white chatterbait. And what was working was just a normal chatterbait, not necessarily a jackhammer, but just a white chatterbait with a fluke on the back end. Seemed to really work. Now, we tried that for about, oh gosh, we probably caught 4 or 5 fish doing that the first hour or 2, and then the bite died off again. Sun got high. So we did similar to what we did the second day and going to a big shaky head worm, except we went to a smaller worm and threw it on a drop shot, the 6-inch Deception worm by Egg Zone Lures. It's a green pumpkin, blue flake. It's my favorite color of all baits, that green pumpkin, blue flake, Deception worm by Egg Zone Lures. We threw it in a pond on a drop shot, about a 2-foot leader from the weight to the hook, and caught some fish on there and got a couple more bites. So overall, a really productive weekend. A lot of moving baits in the morning, and then we transitioned to slower moving baits in the afternoon and what I call dragging baits. So dragging or hopping on the bottom. That seemed to work as the afternoon and the sun got high. That's kind of how we caught them all weekend long. Now, kind of where we're at now, at least, I was going to say we've become stable again, but this week we're going to be back up into the 70s. But then before the weekend, we've got rain coming, and we're going to get back into the 30s and 40s. I don't really know what the heck is going on, but I'm going to try to get out and fish this weekend. Not really sure yet where I'm going to go, but I'm thinking a lot of lipless cranks, some rattle traps, and heck, we'll probably throw that big shaky head worm again, the Magnum Car by Smash Tech. So that's a rundown of this particular weekend, this weekly update here in Texas, giving you an idea of what's been happening, what's been working, and what we caught them on. Look for those videos to come. I still owe you a video from last weekend and fishing swim baits in and around those lily pads. So I've got a load of videos coming. Stay tuned. Lots to come to the channel. Please let me know if you like this format. If nobody told you today, God loves you, and so do I. Peace out.